We're here at the Halliwell Jones Stadium. I'm joined by St Helens head coach Paul Wellens. How you doing, Paul?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Obviously, you've won this competition 5 times in your playing career. So, what would it mean for you to lift the trophy as a coach?
Yeah, obviously, I was very delighted, actually, being a St Helens boy, coaching my own town team. But it's going to be equally as important and what's most important is the players. They're the ones taking the field. They're the ones who've got the responsibility to go out there and perform. And I'm delighted that I get to work with such a dedicated group who are driven for more success. I hope that reflects in our performance on the weekend.
Looking back to last week, obviously you suffered 2 quite unfortunate incidents with James Robey and Mark Percival. How big of a loss are they for this game? Because obviously they're huge members of your team at the moment. Mark's obviously scoring pretty much every week at this point. How are you going to cope without him against Lee?
Yeah, well, obviously both Mark and James are really influential players for us and have been pivotal to a lot of the success that we've had in recent years. But what we've spoke about in-house and over the last few seasons is that if you are going to be successful during the campaign, that you're going to have and deal with periods of adversity, and this is another one that we have to deal with. And what I am confident in, that whoever comes into the 17 to replace those guys, I'll go out there and give their all in terms of getting a performance and getting a result. So yeah, we're disappointed that those players can't play, but at the same time, it's an opportunity for somebody else.
Taking it back to earlier this season, you won the World Club Challenge quite quickly into your coaching career. Have you taken some lessons from that you can bring into clutch games like Saturday?
I don't read too much into it. I am fortunate. Of being a coach of this group of players, is that there's a lot of players out there who know what it's like to perform in big games. So they've learned that through experiences, whether it be in grand finals, challenge cups, playoff games, or even the World Club Challenge game that you reference. So I have a lot of trust in the playing group. They can go out there and perform, and we know that we're going to have to perform well this weekend because we're coming up against a side who are playing well and confident themselves.
One name that I've seen bandied around on social media is George Delaney. Obviously, he's come into the side. He's a very young man, but he's doing a cracking job so far. What have you made of blooding youngsters in your first season? Is it something that you'd want to do more of?
Yeah, I mean, you always want to give young players an opportunity, but I'm always keen to stress this with young players. It's not an opportunity given, it's an opportunity earned, and that's certainly the case with George. George spent the early part of the season playing dual reg with Swinton. Went there, not only played well, but was the best player for a number of those weeks that he played there, and almost got to the point where I had no choice but to put him in the team because he's performing so well. So he's done a great job. He's maturing very quickly as a player. He's very keen to learn and work hard on his game, and it's great for me to watch a young player develop like he's developing. He's going to have challenges through his career like a lot of young players do, but we're certainly very happy with where he's at.
Looking ahead to your opponents on Saturday, the Lee Leopards, they've had a fantastic season so far, sitting in second. What have you made of them so far this season? Obviously, it's a new look to the team. Obviously, Adrian's in charge, and there's a lot of veterans mixed in with just young, fast, exciting talents. So, what have you made of Lee so far this year?
Yeah, they've been outstanding. For a team returning to Super League, from the Championship, I think their level of consistency and their level of performance has been really impressive. But it's not surprising when you look at the playing roster. You look at the calibre of player that they have within their ranks and how many players have got a wealth of experience and been around the game a long time, but also a wealth of experience in terms of playing in big games, whether that be internationals, whether that be playoff games themselves or grand finals. So it's no surprise to see them doing well, but it's huge credit to them, considering they were a championship team last year.
And kind of reflecting on the big games for Saints, obviously recent weeks you played Warrington, Catalans, and now you got a huge Challenge Cup semi-final, all in back-to-back weeks. Are you worried about burnout at all? Obviously, you still need to catch up on a game after the World Club Challenge. Is that something in the back of your mind?
Not at all. No. The group are looking fresh. I was really heartened by the fact, even though we didn't quite get the result last week against Catalan, if you watch that game back, the last 10-15 minutes we were the team that was coming home the strongest. We were the team that had more energy at the back end of what was, in my opinion, the most intense game of Super League this year. So I take a lot of confidence from that as the coach. I'm sure our players do too. So I think that's a pretty good indication that we're in a good spot at the moment.
Absolutely. Now I don't want to push you for a prediction, but say you get through the weekend and you book your place at Wembley. Is there a side you'd rather see come up against you? Is it Wigan? Is it Hull KR?
I think if you get to a final, there are always going to be tough games, whoever you play. Obviously, there's a lot of people would see the Saints Wigan game as a huge derby there for a final, and it is. I've played in one. It's a phenomenal occasion to play in those games anyway. But also Hull KR, I think they showed at the weekend in their performance at Leeds that they're a serious side, and like a lot of teams this year, they have been inconsistent at times, but they're not on their own there, are they? So yeah, I think both sides are dangerous for I think whoever makes the final, whether St Helens, Wigan or Hull KR, it's going to make for a great occasion because it's going to be a competitive one.
Well, best of luck for the weekend, Paul, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Cheers. Pleasure. Thank you.